Alright, so happy Saturday everybody. My name is Heir Samurai. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a video that's a little bit different. I'm relaxing right now, so I'm not doing anything but that. But I wanted to talk a little bit about this explosive behind the back garbage and why I'm so glad that 2K got rid of it, and the lunacy that revolves around people wanting this in the game. So I put it to you like this. The reason why people are mad about it is because they're mad that it's gone, is because they heavily relied on it in order to be able to get themselves open. Now, this is the thing. 2K19, the explosive behind the back wasn't there. Everybody played just fine. But now all of a sudden, people are mad that this overpowered, overused move is going out of the game. First of all, this is the thing. I've seen big content creators and I've seen pros advocating for having this move. That lets you know a little bit about their stance on playing the game and competitive play, okay? For them, playing the game is more about their stupid win percentage that nobody gives a shit about, as opposed to truly having competition in a game where you have to think your way through playing, right? I'm not saying that playmakers, cause I'm a slashing playmaker, so I don't want to hear nobody's garbage. I'm a shooting guard. I'm a slashing playmaker, shooting guard, and I try to make my build as close to what I felt could be like a Michael Jordan build as humanly possible, right? With the contact dunks, the fast movement, and all this kind of stuff. I feel like the slashing playmaker is closer to a Michael Jordan build than the two-way slashing playmaker. But that's a story for another day. But I just wanted to make this video to talk about this because you've got pros and you got big content creators that want this in the game, talking about they can't believe that it's gone. This is the problem with the move, right? When you talk about, especially when you talk about competitive play, see, this is what I said on my Twitter a little while back about all of these comp guards and meta guards and things like that. Because truth be told, comp guards essentially are meta guards in NBA 2K. You got people who get so distraught about losing games. They get so infuriated about losing games that they go out and they find, instead of playing the way that they want to play and trying to win and use different strategies or come up with different moves in order to be able to win games, they go out and they look for the most exploitative thing in the game in order for them to use, so that way they can lose less. So they don't play the game based off of how they actually like the game or what they actually feel about basketball. They play the game based off of making sure that regardless of what happens in the game, that they don't have to think as much, they don't have to put in as much effort, and they can pick something that's going to give them the easiest win. This is what you call comp in NBA 2K and 2K20. This is what people call comp. And it's nonsense. I've got some shots up, excuse me, of some stuff I just did the other day where I beat an 80 win percent player. The first time we played him, I beat him. And I've said this in my meta build video, and obviously as of right now, I only got 78 subs, but a lot of people are agreeing with me on Twitter in terms of what it is that I'm saying. Your comp, your definition of comp is flawed. It's totally flawed. Take for instance Street Fighter, right? I'm gonna go off track here for Street Fighter. I'm gonna bring it back around. Remember Street Fighter? Remember the Street Fighters where you could get Ryu, you can just throw Hadoukens all game, and even if a person blocked it, it would still take down their health. So literally a person could just spam this move over and over and over again, and it would be almost impossible to get over to them and touch them because they had this projectile attack. That is kind of what the behind the back was this year in the game. There's no penalty for doing it. And I've said the same thing about setting screens. The screener gets no penalty. None. The screener can set screens all damn game long and then pop out and shoot threes. or the screener can set screens all game long and don't have no fatigue effects. This is the problem with this game. This is the problem with this community. Even a player like me, a slash and playmaker, with contact nuts and all this other kind of stuff, right? I've said this before. If you want to make the games balanced and make it even, set rules in place to stop people from doing certain things. If I'm a slasher and I get the takeoff room to jump and you're down in the paint, you should get dunked on every time. But if I'm a slasher and you're riding my hip and you basically have like an advantage, so not only will you just ride my hip, but you're like cutting me off, I should get jammed up when I go down in the paint. I shouldn't be able to hop step past you if you're already attached to me. You get what I'm saying? That's nonsense. I shouldn't be able to Euro step you if you're already attached to me. It should be a slow, messed up Euro step that forces me to figure out how to create enough space to be able to get a gap to be able to get to the basket. Not just oh, well, I know if I do this, I can cancel whatever defensive tactic that you're putting in. That's not skill. That's not comp. That's meta. And I just, I don't understand what people's gripe is, especially when you talk about pros, people that play this game for a living, that make hundreds of thousands of dollars off playing this game. Like, how in the hell could you, of all people, be an advocate for a broken move in this game? And if you don't think that it's broken, go back and watch Ticino versus the World, people. I thought about actually watching Ticino versus the World, all of it, to actually understand what is going on in the minds of these top tier people that are content creators and guys like Ticino who's willing to put $10,000 on the line to win a best out of 7 series or something like that against somebody in the twos. And it's all the same. There's nothing to study. Whoever can behind the back hezzy the fastest and the quickest, that's the person that's gonna win. Behind the screen. And it just makes no sense. And to be honest with you, in that tournament, the only person that I really liked the person's play was G-Man. G-Man was a fucking dog in the tournament. He was a dog. Especially that first game that he played against Ticino, it was basically all ISO. G-Man was doing a bunch of crazy stuff, and he's really fast on the stick. But this notion that this behind the back thing has ruined the game, the fact that it's not there anymore, you guys are garbage at the game, and you don't even realize it. You're not good at the game, bro. You got pros and big content creators advocating for it. Meanwhile, the originators of the ISO community, the guy who literally, and I was going to put this in a bunch of tweets and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure Steezo don't want to read a bunch of tweets that I, blew up on his timeline, especially with me being such a small content creator or whatever. But you literally talking about the guys that started this wave of ISO community. Steezo and Swante, they both hate the shit. But you got pros getting paid that love it. So what does that tell you about competitiveness and people's true competitive nature? People only want to do stuff that's going to benefit them. Steezo is a person, and I've said this before, and I know, and it's all positivity on my channel, so I'm saying this now, and I'm going to say it again, and he's probably not even going to watch this video, but I'm telling you now, Steezo came up with this ISO shit, with the Steezo spin and all this different shit. This man came up with this shit because he got bored of kicking people's asses. He didn't come up with this shit because he's garbage at the game, and he couldn't do anything else. He came up with it because he got bored. You know how much time you have to put into being the originator of something? Literally something that can become almost completely unguardable with the spin move and the behind the back and stuff. They've made this game and the stamina in this game and dribbling and all that kind of shit, and especially the moves and stuff. They've designed this game, a large majority of it, around the stuff that Steezo broke. And he doesn't want that garbage ass behind the back in the game. So what does that say about the pros that want it in? Comp pros. What does that say about the big content creators that go to community day that want this in the game and say, oh, well, the game needs cheese. If not, it's going to be boring. That's not true. The game needs competitiveness. And the only way you can be competitive is if you have to think your way through things. I'm not saying that certain people shouldn't have certain advantages in certain places. That is obviously going to come with the design of making your own build, putting your points where you want to put your points, choosing your height, choosing your weight, and all these different things. And while we at it, I'm just going to add this on too about this whole nonsense bullshit about, oh, well, I like the game better when it's inside, outside of balance. So you like a game where there's only 3 options to create your player from a standpoint of what type of player it is, and you just dance behind screens the entire time and shoot threes, and then go to the lane and contact other people. What sense does that make? That's also not competitive. The game is not perfect. I've said that time and time again, but the game 2K is better now than it was in 16 from the standpoint of creating your player. And my favorite character creation in 2K was 2K15. That was my favorite. That was my absolute favorite, because you just chose a playstyle. And I always chose the athletic playstyle. I'm going to light you up from mid-range, and then if you don't get out on me and guard me from 3, I'm going to light you up from 3. But then if not, right, once you start guarding that, then I'm going to the basket. I'm not understanding, like, what we want as a community. And this is why, and I've said this again, and I should have said this at the beginning of the video, I am so happy that 2K went out and bought NBA Playgrounds. I'm so excited. Because now, everybody that wants this bullshit behind the back in the game, y'all can go play NBA Playgrounds. Go play that. I hope that when the next console generation comes out, all of this shit, all of the cheesy, unrealistic shit that y'all want in the game, and I'm not saying 2K has to be 100% realistic, but it's gotta be fair. It's gotta be fucking fair. And fair is hard to achieve, but it can be more achievable if the community stops being split about, oh, well, I can't do this move I can't do this move 15,000 times in one possession that nobody can fucking stay with after maybe the 3rd or 4th time. The explosive behind the back before the patch, it was guardable to a degree. It wasn't completely guardable, but it was guardable to a degree. You had to play the side of the person. You had to stay on their sides in order to keep them from shooting the 3 of you. But if they noticed that, right, because of the speed difference in the way that those players moved and all this kind of stuff, if they noticed that, they could always get to the rim. So even if you played the side and stopped the 3, they could get to the rim. And this is what I'm saying about this move in the game. Like, for the people that want this explosive behind the back, y'all need to get on Twitter, ask 2K to make NBA Playgrounds your perfect cheese fest. That way y'all can get out there and play that, and then it don't matter. You can go up and do all of these 360 windmills, 50,000 times in the air with the ball flaming on fire like NBA Jam. Y'all can do that on NBA Playgrounds. You can do explosive behind the back on NBA Playgrounds. Ask them for that. But don't come over to the game that is supposed to be fun, because the fun in a game comes in your ability to not only play the game, but have to think your way through the game and get better. If you don't have that, when you got this explosive behind the back that nobody can stay in front of, not even the lockdowns, and then even with the lockdowns, remember how they had to patch the reaching at the beginning of the year? People reach so much and it would just knock you out of dribble combos. So why in the hell would you want them to patch that if you're a dribbler, but you don't want them to patch this OP ass behind the back move? Like, we gotta start making sense. I think a lot of people and their opinions on competitive play and their opinions on 2K got exposed today. So now, when you see people tweet out certain stuff or they say certain things, now you know who to listen to and who not to listen to. It's just what it is.